from Florida for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you all for being here today. Thank you for your testimony. Appreciate it very much. As many of my colleagues know, I personally familiar with many of the challenges that small business owners face. Before coming to Congress, I owned my own small business for 13 years. In the entire time that I owned that business, I used an employee-owned model. I found that by giving employees stake in the business, that not only allowed them to feel more invested in the business, but it motivated them to succeed. It had skin in the game, so to speak. But also gave them a taste of what it was like to be entrepreneurs. One of the most daunting aspects of small business ownership is getting started. You see so many businesses fail. And I think, entrepreneurs take enormous risk in their business that often with little experience when they first start. So the employee-owned model can correct this problem, in my opinion, because it allows people to develop the skills of business ownership with substantially less risk, essentially, than maybe making a go of it, on their own. I think it better equips these folks to start businesses with that knowledge. But some of the most rewarding moments in my experience as a business owner is to see some of the folks that have been owners in my business then step out and start their own business. I've enjoyed that on several occasions. But so I strongly believe that employee-centered model can really make for better businesses and more productive employees. One theme that I have been noticing was that because employees are directly involved in ownership decisions of the business, the organizations tend to make decisions that benefit the employees, which makes sense. The question I have, however, does this impair a business potentially from making tough decisions sometimes that may be necessary for the health and growth of the business? For instance, if you have a market that's dynamic and changing rapidly and there need to be quick changes, potentially downsizing and so forth, how do you get to the point where you get employees who are, by nature, self-interested to come together and make a decision? And I'll just open the floor to anybody who wants to answer that.
In 2008, in response to the financial crisis, we set out 6 layers of actions, and the last on the list was actual layoffs. We never got there, fortunately. But I'll never forget when we did get to the point where we decided that we would have a 20% across-the-board reduction in pay. And at the end of that company meeting, a number of people came up to me and thanked me. And I said, wait a sec, your pay just got reduced by 20%. And they said, so did yours, and you lost more than I did. And they were just in it together. So that's a pretty tough business decision to make, and everybody was on board.
Anybody else like to offer an answer to that question?
I can't speak to the start of our business because that was in 1884. However, I can tell you that in 2016, when I was brought in, it was with the realization that while we had a 130-year-old profitable newspaper that was still independent, if we're going to be around for the next 130 years, we had better diversify our revenue base. And that's why we went through building an employee-owned platform that brings transition of other private companies into our company. And today we're 570 employees, 2/3 in manufacturing, 1/3 in media. And there are plenty of difficult decisions and allocation of resources, capital, staffing that go along the way in building that.
I would say on the worker co-op front, we've seen this since the Great Recession, is that young people are wanting to start their own businesses. They don't want to work for a corporation. Some don't want to work for a corporation. They want to own their own business, and they're happy to share that. Especially with conversions, the worker co-op model is not for everyone. Some people want to go to work 8 hours and go home. They don't want the responsibility of making the decisions or the stress and the pressure. But some people, it's a natural for them, and those are the ones that prosper.
The only thing I would add is, when the recession hit, obviously hit construction really hard. We did the same thing. We all came together and we knew we were in it together. But the other thing within our company, it's a realization that good ideas come from people, they don't come from titles. So a lot of what we do and continue to advance ways to build buildings for our owners and deliver them quality projects at quicker schedules come from the ideas, and it may be somebody that just started with us last year.
Thank you. Yield back, Chair.
See, it's fine.